guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm sharing my testimony of how God took me from grass to grace, from a mess to a beautiful message to the world. So I was not really raised in a Christian setup. My parents were not believers, they were not Christians when I was young. The only time I went to church was when I went with my neighbors. And I was also not going for the right reasons, which is why now I know that there's a difference between a churchgoer and a Christian. You can go to church for years, but that still not meaning that you have fully given your life and your heart to Christ. And that was me. So I remember between the age of 9 and 10, I started going to church with my neighbors. My parents didn't have a car. I saw going to church every Sunday as an opportunity to just go and enjoy a free ride. I was not going for the right reasons. And I continued going to that church until I was 12. When I was 12, I just lost interest because in the beginning, I went for the wrong reasons anyway. I lost interest in going to church, so I stopped going. And I stayed home until I was around maybe 15. Yeah, I think until I was 15. And we moved because we were renting at the time. We moved into a different location, still in that same village. And I was invited to go to church again. It was still neighbors again. I remember those guys were in tertiary school at the time, and I was just 15. And I didn't want to go. Of course, at home sometimes I'll watch church channels, godly channels. Sometimes I used to watch sermons, I used to see a lot of things, and I'll just be watching, out of curiosity, not fully believing in the things that I was seeing, especially when it comes to miracles, people getting healed of diseases that I thought or that I knew were incurable. These guys who were my neighbors invited me to go to church with them. And I still remember that day like it happened yesterday, because I saw some of the things I used to see on TV happening, and I was shocked. I was really shocked. I remember seeing people praying in tongues for the first time, and I was like, what is that? What the hell are they saying? That's how I really felt at the time. And I kept on going for some time. But yeah, even then, I was just going there because they wouldn't take no for an answer. And every time I went home, I used to imitate people. I used to show my mom everything that was happening. I would imitate everyone, from the person who's welcoming me at the door to the person who will be ushering us out towards the end of the service. I'll be imitating how people were walking as they were praying, because I didn't know what prayer was, and I felt so out of place when I was there. But I kept on going. I kept on going for 2 years. Obviously not consistently, but every now and then I'll go. Especially if those guys come and ask for permission to go with me with my parents. Yeah. Sometimes I didn't even want to go, but what could I do when my parents already agreed? Now, fast forward to 17 years. My dad got transferred and he was going to work in a different place, and I was going to a boarding school. I was so excited about going there because I thought that everything that I had not done, from primary to junior level, I'm going to do it all there because my parents won't be there. So when I first got the letter that I was admitted at a boarding school, I was like, here I come. So I was really excited. I remember the very first day of going to that school. The school was still new, and we were basically the second group in that school. Even the official opening of that school was done when we were there. And I thought to myself that everything that I had not done before, I was waiting to go and do it there. I'm not talking about anything good. I don't want to lie. I don't want to sugarcoat anything. I'm talking about all the bad things. All the bad things. When I got there, surprisingly, the environment was not what I expected. The behavior of people there was the opposite of what I wanted. I met Jesus. at the gate of that school. I would say at the gate because it's like God was just there, waiting for me to arrive at that school and just capture my heart. Because that's the time where I met Jesus, where Jesus was really introduced to me, and for the first time in my life, I fell in love with Jesus. So one thing I always tell people is that God can use anyone that is available to be used by Him. Because on my case, I was not led into Christ by a pastor. I was not led to Christ by an older person. We were very young. I met another one on the day of the official opening of the school. I was just passing by, going to the restrooms, and I saw this guy, and he looked at me and was like, "Hi, would you mind coming here for like a minute?" I went to him, and then when I got there, he was like, "Hi." Then he said, "I love you." At that time, I thought, "What?" But I don't know, something in me was telling me that these words are not the I love yous that I usually hear. There was an element of godliness within those words. I don't know if it makes sense. Because before I met this guy, whenever a guy tells me that he loves me, it was always a different kind of love, Yeah. So for the first time in my life, I'm meeting a guy who just called me over and he told me that he loves me, and I'm not getting any vibes that I usually get. It was just different. So my response was, "Oh, thank you." Then he also said, "And God loves you more." Then I said, "Yeah, I know." From there, he sat me down for a few minutes. He was talking about God. I don't really remember what he was saying because at the time I thought he's just wasting my time, honestly. I told my friends about this guy so that next time we meet this guy, you will make sure that we avoid him. We're not really there to talk about Jesus. But then later on, he kept on coming to us whenever he gets the chance. Of course, that is when or if we didn't see him coming, because if we did, obviously we used to run for our lives. A few weeks later, I met this other guy again, another brother, and he came to me. He said hi, and then he started giving me advices about boys, giving me this big brother vibes. I was bored, and in my mind I kept on thinking, why do these guys keep on coming to us? Like we go to church already, there's no need for all this. That's what I was thinking at the time. So brother number 2, it happens that whenever I just go somewhere without my friends, even if it's like for a minute, I'll keep on meeting this brother. And every time I meet him, he'll tell me about Jesus, tell me about the love of God, and he'll give me scriptures to go and read on my own. And when he meet us, me and my friends, he'll do the same thing and give us assignments to go and read some scriptures. Get ready for part 2. Bye.